Michael Brogdon's a guy that can go 50, 40, 90 in the season, and he's just so efficient. He plays smart. He lets the game come to him. He doesn't rush things. He finds the open guys. He can hit a three. He can drive. So I really like Michael Brogdon. He's underrated to me, but that's okay because I think he actually embraces that role. Nurkic, like I alluded to, they really only had Nurkic and his cancer, but Nurkic actually went out with a right wrist injury in the second quarter, and from there they just started to attack the paint, and it was just a total mismatch for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are a team that can get hot when you least expect it because of their shooters. Gary Trent, CJ, Dame. They have a couple other guys. They can dump it down to Melo. He can get a groove going. But last night they just couldn't get it going in the third. They had a little bit of a push, but it just wasn't enough because every time they would score, the Pacers had an answer. They only outscored them by 10 that quarter, and they were down a large lead. So it was a valiant effort, but it wasn't enough. And then the Pacers just walked the game home. The Pacers are going to be a force, and they're really good. They're really good, so people need to start looking out for them. Even without Victor, they're really good. So 111-87 for the Pacers over the Trailblazers. Keep an eye out for the Pacers. And then the last game of the night, my beloved Golden State Warriors versus the Denver Nuggets. Denver took that game 114-104. This game, every time I watch the Golden State Warriors against any team, I just don't ever lose hope because of Steph Curry. I mean, the first quarter, they get outscored, and Curry hasn't really hit any shots. He put up a couple shots, but he hasn't hit any. And then in the second quarter, they go on a run. The second team comes in and helps to shorten that lead. And then it's a close game and a half. And if you were just a normal fan watching, you would think, oh, they're about to get blown out. But because of Steph Curry, they just are never out of games. The Nuggets played big last night. They were hot. They were hitting everything. They had a lot of bench help. 25-16, the bench for Denver over Golden State at the half. So the bench was big for Denver. JaMychal Green from the Clippers last year, he was big for Denver. He was hitting a lot of shots, making plays. The third quarter, we were at the Golden State Warriors were down, and it looked like it was a large lead. And then you look up, and they're only down, I think it was maybe 6, and there's hope. And that's what happens with the Golden State Warriors. Curry had 35, 11, and 4, and it was still not a great shooting night for him. So it just shows you how dynamic they can be, even with only Curry and not Clay or of course KD when he was there. So they were in the game for most of it. Turnovers at the end of the game was really what happened. Was the theme of the game. They had way too many turnovers in crucial times, and the Nuggets capitalized on it, and they got close enough to make the Nuggets sweat, but those turnovers, and then it was game over for them. So for me, it's gonna be like this all season for the Golden State Warriors. It's just gonna be about if they can end runs, if they can go on runs at the right time. Because I know they're going to have those runs, but it just all depends on if they can go on them at the right time and if their bench can continue to play high-level basketball. Eric Paschall, Damian Lee, Looney off the bench. They have to be big, and they have to be able to either keep a lead or shorten a lead from the other team, and they've done it. they have the experience because all last year it was pretty much the second team was pretty much the first team. So they have playing time. They have their feel. They have their chemistry with their guys. So they need to be able to come in and make plays. And so far they have. But last night the Denver bench just outplayed them slightly. And then, like I said, towards the end, the turnovers were a killer for the Golden State Warriors. Denver capitalized on it. So kudos to Denver. Joker wasn't extremely dominant in the first half. He was kind of, facilitating more. He started in the third quarter, and towards the fourth he started to take over a little bit. But he wasn't one of those games where he took the whole game over from start to finish. But he definitely was. He touched the ball maybe every possession down the floor for the Nuggets, and that's what they're going to need to do because he's their best player in order for them to be successful. Because he can dish it, he can score himself, so he's a dual threat. And I like the Nuggets. I knew that they would turn it around. They're just too good not to be in the playoffs. Especially when they have the best center in the league, or one or two of the best centers in the league. A top guard, and then they have maybe one of the top 3 or 4 benches. So, the Nuggets are going to be a force, and they're going to be right up there where they usually are. So you got to watch out for them. Jokic is just a monster. He had 23, 14, and 10 to beat the Golden State Warriors 114 to 104. Now, speaking of Nikola Jokic, I had to give it to him. Because he took the game over when he needed to. Sabonis had a decent game. Christian Wood had a good game against a team that, the Spurs are a good coach team, well coached. But Jokic had a little bit better because of the assist. He was able to really facilitate everything on the offense. Christian Wood was getting his buckets and his rebounds, but he wasn't orchestrating the offense the way that Jokic does. Boucher had a good game, but of course the other team didn't have their best player. And then the 76ers was, it was a return game. Shake Milton had a career game for him, but he didn't have 4 of their top players. So for me, the player of the day is easily going to be Nikola Jokic. And I sure hope that's how you spell it. It is. He had 24, 23. Yo, that's ugly. 23, 14, and 10. Triple dub. And, like the reason I just explained, he just took the game over against a pretty good team. A team that can get as hot as anybody else with only one guy, really. And the Warriors just need to, their other guys need to help. But all games for the rest of the year for the Warriors are going to come down to games like this, where they can stay in it to the fourth, and they're going to have to go on a run and get some stops and take care of the ball. But Jokic was able to capitalize on their mistakes, so he got the player of the day. And the player of the week for me, that's going to come as a surprise to you guys who think that I'm a hater, but I am very objective, and I just tell the truth because people like the truth. They deserve the truth. The truth will set you free. So I have no choice but to give it to this man right here. And his name is LeBron James. Now LeBron James has moved up in my MVP ranking. He's number 2. He's the best player on, it seems like, the best team in the NBA so far. He just takes games over so effortless. He controls games so easily. He just scores at will. He makes his teammates better. You know, his team right now just looks like the most complete team, the most fluid team, the team with the least problems. They're just in their own world right now. They did win the championship last year. It was a phony championship, to me at least. He still, they still have to go there and win it, but circumstances as they may be, it was a little up and down. But for this week, they're on a 4-game winning streak. He's the reason behind it, and he's just been dominant. So, for me, the player of the week is an obvious choice in LeBron James. Kudos to him. And then MVP race. Joel is starting to get on my nerves a little bit because I'm gonna, sooner or later, if he has 9 points and 5 rebounds and 1 assist in 24 minutes against a team that doesn't have 4 of their top players, for me, I'm gonna have to start to move him down, because these other 2 guys are just playing so well. LeBron, for one, is playing outstanding basketball. His team is the best in the league. And then Curry, even in losses like last night, he goes for 35, 11, and 4. In a close game where he has no second star, he's doing this by himself. There's no other superstar that's with him.